And as I was preparing the notes for this video, and again, not mistaking peace for boredom, I instantly thought of the scripture, he will give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And if I can think of any way to describe like this last year, it has been peace that surpasses all understanding, because in my understanding, I don't know how I'm right here today. I don't know how I'm living the life that I'm living today.
As the sun shines on all of my glory, my flaws don't look so bad at all. What was I so afraid of?
Hey everybody, it's Sharmel. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am back with another transparency talk, so let's get right into it. So if this is your first time tuning into a transparency talk video, I have been doing these for a few years now, and basically they're just a way for me to document my process along my life's journey, just me being vulnerable, honest, transparent about any struggles that I may be going through, and then as well as just offering advice and tools and things that I've been implementing in my life to push me along the way. And if there's ever anything that you would like for me to talk about more specifically, I'm always open to suggestions and video topics. So yeah, let's get into our topic for today. So it has been a minute since I've done one of these videos, and it's been a variety of reasons why I haven't done a transparency talk. And so just as a quick refresher, these last few years I've just experienced a lot of just life changes and transitions. For one, the world just changed drastically, but I also entered my 30s and just kind of navigating my 30s, dealing with mental, spiritual, physical changes. And as of recently, within this last year, I feel like one of the major changes in my life has been like career changes. I've been doing content for a long time, but in October of 2022, I transitioned to doing content full-time. And so yeah, I'm getting close to a month since I left my they left me my previous job. I think my last month working there was September, and we are in August. So I'm slowly getting closer to like that 1 year mark of me being a full-time content creator, and it has been such a interesting experience. Yeah, every day I am extremely thankful, because I know that first of all, where I'm at right now, I have been praying and it's been a lot of work, and it didn't happen how I thought it would happen, but I'm still thankful that it happened. And at the time that it happened, I was just in a really good place in my life. So overall, I am super thankful. I'm grateful every day that I have even made it this far. Like, I remember the first month, like, oh wow, I've been doing this for a month. Then the second month, then like 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, and here I am almost at a year of doing content full time. And for the most part, my life has been, as far as like just my everyday needs and basics and things like that, I have been living still comfortably. And so for that, I am extremely grateful. My first few months as a full-time content creator, I really spent those first few months just kind of resting and honestly having fun. I spent the previous 10 years, working and being tied to like this 9 to 5, not only job, but I do feel like there's a lifestyle that comes around having a 9 to 5 job, because a lot of the times your days, even vacations, whatever it is, your life outside of work is always kind of tailored around the job and whatever freedoms and liberties you're able to have within that job. So for the first few months of me being a full-time content creator, y'all, I was just resting. And I remember I did a video talking about like how rest changed my life. And yeah, up until that point, and when I did that video, I was just talking about my experience and how I arrived at my place of really just prioritizing rest in my life. However, like within the first couple of months of this year, I feel like this like anxious spirit just started to creep into my life. I just had a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxious thoughts, a lot of overthinking. I was getting to the point where not only was I overthinking my content, but I was also just kind of overthinking like just me, who I am, my life. Y'all, it was bad. And I've told you guys like in some vlogs and some earlier videos, but this past winter, like the winter blues had hit me bad. And so for a while, I'm thinking like, it's just the seasonal changes. It's the winter time, it's cold, it's rainy. That's probably why I'm having like a little anxiety. But no, like the anxious thoughts have kind of continued. Honestly, a lot of my anxious thoughts were rooted in feeling like I wasn't doing enough, right? Again, I came from a 9-to-5 background where I was just constantly doing things, constantly like just spreading my time so thin. And so when you get to a place where time almost feels infinite, it's like, okay, I need to be doing something. And I would find myself starting projects that I wouldn't complete, and I was just doing stuff, just doing it because I felt like I needed to be doing more. But the more I did, it wasn't necessarily making me happy, it wasn't making me feel fulfilled. I was just honestly just doing things. And there's a difference between like busy work and productive work, and I feel like my anxious thoughts had me going in a cycle of trying to do a lot of busy work to stay busy, but it wasn't productive. And I'm sure a lot of that comes from, again, the 9-to-5 background. You know, when you always feel like you have to do something, when you have like a little more relaxed time, downtime, in a way it's a very uncomfortable feeling. But yeah, I feel like those anxious thoughts just kind of started to spiral, right? I'm navigating, you know, a new life change. I'm having these anxious thoughts. I'm thinking I'm not doing enough. So in the process, I begin to do stuff that just keeps me busy in the moment. And it got to the point, y'all, it was such a domino effect. It got to the point where I was even considering going back to get a job. And mind you, during these last, what is this, month 11, 10, 11 months, y'all, as far as like from a financial standpoint, I've been solid. Like, my day-to-day stability has not changed. Like, I've even got a new car within these last few months. Like, honestly, there was no reason for me, there was no real reason for me to think about getting a job unless I wanted to. It was just, again, the anxiety and the anxious thoughts of me feeling like I need to be doing more. I feel like once you kind of enter like the full-time content creator space, it's almost like, you know, you have to start a business or sell a product and do all of these things. And I'm not saying that those things won't be in my path at some point, but I feel like within this first year for sure, that is not where God wanted me to be. And yeah, like I said, I was thinking about getting a job, y'all, and I was like, girl, you're not ready to go back to work. I spent so much time trying to get away from like the corporate traditional work, and it's like, why am I trying to self-sabotage myself in the moment? And so I was like, okay, definitely not a full-time job. And I was like, well, maybe I'll get me a part-time job, just to be doing something. And then I'm like, okay, but if I get a part-time job, then that's gonna take away time from me doing my content and just taking care of my home and doing things that I enjoy around the home. And so again, just all of these anxious thoughts had me just spiraling, bouncing back and forth. And yeah, y'all, I haven't been a complete mess, but I did kind of start to feel myself regress and fall back into old thinking patterns and old habits, mainly because I've been in a new space and I've been trying to figure out where I fit in and how to navigate this new space that I'm in. And so I happened to be on TikTok a few weeks ago, and this video popped up on my For You page. I'm gonna try to insert it if I can. I may have to screen record it because I think she has like her saves off or something like that. But yes, in the video you hear her talking about how basically she was feeling frustrated because she was just feeling bored, right? She had asked God to basically deliver her from the partying, drinking, smoking, and basically change her life, change her lifestyle. And when he did just that, she started to feel bored. And so she was talking about this revelation that she had and how basically she was mistaking peace for boredom, and how when we ask God to give us peace, bring us peace, she also mentioned a scripture that says, peace be still. A big part of peace is just being still, and how we're always just so used to the chaos and the destruction and dysfunction in our lives, whether we're even active participants in it or if it's just going on around us. A lot of us are just very tethered to these old lifestyles. And she just goes on to talk about how like a lot of times when you're experiencing peace, it can feel like boredom, it can feel uneventful. So yeah, when I came across this video, y'all, it really hit me. I felt like it convicted me immediately, because while I haven't necessarily been dealing with the spirit of boredom per se, I feel like a lot of my anxious thoughts were rooted in being at peace, right? For so long, I have been asking God to change my life. Again, I have been doing content creating since I've been in college, you guys, and I'm in my 30s now. And you know, for a long time, I never thought that being able to be in the position that I am now and being able to do it full-time was ever in the cards for me. And so in a way, I feel like I started to, the anxiety and the anxious thoughts was my way of kind of self-sabotaging what God had blessed me with, what I had asked him to do for me in my life. And so yeah, these last few months, this last year in general has been just very, I don't even know if I can put it into words, because I will say it's an experience that I've never experienced before. I've dealt with a lot of struggles and things like that, but this time period now, it just feels different. And I don't even know, like, again, I can't even put it into words. Again, it's something I've never experienced before, you know, outside of, you know, battling those anxious thoughts. In general, when I look at my life, the level of peace that I have had this last year, it's been unmatched to anything that I have ever experienced before in my life. And it's crazy because I seen that TikTok video, and then I feel like shortly after I seen like it wasn't a meme, but it was like, I think it was a tweet from somebody or something like that. And the tweet said something along the lines of, the more I heal, the less ambitious I become. And that resonated with me as well, because again, I feel like I've been spending so much time hyper focused on all of these goals that I never really had time to actually just rest in whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. And I feel like for the first time in my life this past year, I've really been able to just rest in what I've accomplished. And so yeah, it's just been a really interesting experience to navigate. And I think too, because I've had so much downtime this last year, I've also been able to do a lot of just reflection. And I've been doing these videos for a long time, so you guys have probably heard me say this before. Like, my top prayers for like the last 3 to 4 years have been like, God, give me stability and genuine peace and joy. And it's so crazy because I actually went back to watch one of my older like transparency videos before. I think they were titled transparency videos, and I don't even know if I posted it on this channel, but I am going to insert a clip of what I said in that video, and I'm going to insert it here. I've been really like focusing on what true abundance is. 2 or 3 of my main prayers this year have been, 1, strategy. I've been asking God just for strategy in life, strategy in business, strategy in relationships, strategy within my family, just strategy. Like, that's one of my #1 prayers. And then another one is just like health. You know, like this with the whole pandemic and with people getting sick, and you know, a lot of us take our health for granted, but like, God, keep me healthy. And then I also been praying just for like real peace and real joy. Again, with this pandemic, like everything is so fear driven, and I value my peace of mind so much more now. And again, that doesn't mean that I don't desire nice things, but if I'm praying to God for like, you know, this big house, you know, these fancy cars, if I don't have strategy, how am I going to pay these payments? How am I going to be able to sustain these things long term without strategy? I'm praying to God for this big house, but I'm sick. I don't even get to really enjoy the house. What good does that do? You know, if I'm praying to God for this big mansion, this big house, but the rest of my life is complete havoc, what good does this house do? And so yeah, I've really been trying to change my thought process and, you know, how I view abundance and an abundant life. But yes, it was so crazy to me, because that's one thing I also love about doing these videos, is because I'm able to see like my progression. And in that video, y'all, I'm so calm and I'm kind of quiet in the way that I'm speaking, but y'all wouldn't know the type of chaos that was going on in my life at that time. And that video, I filmed that video in August of 2020, and here we are 3 years later in August of 2023, and the strategy and the stability that I was looking for, God has given it to me. I tell you guys all the time, I'm not the richest, right? I'm not rich yet, but I live well, right? And that's more than I can ever ask for. For the most part, if I want to do something, I'm in a position to do it. And so the stability that I have been yearning for and looking for, he blessed me with, y'all. The joy that I have been yearning and longing for, he blessed me with. The peace. This past year, I have been literally living just in the physical of that prayer. Like, everything that I was praying for during that time, God has blessed me with, and he has blessed me beyond measure than what I could have imagined. And I had to be honest with myself, like, you know, like, why, again, I'm having these anxious thoughts, and I'm like, why are they coming back? And I feel like part of it was me feeling undeserving of being able to be comfortable right now, right? And you know, we always hear the saying, don't get too comfortable. You know, as I'm having these anxious thoughts, like, that's something that I kept hearing, like, you can't get too comfortable, you can't get too comfortable. And you know, the more I think about it, I have to ask myself, like, who said that being comfortable was wrong? Who said that being comfortable was a bad thing? Don't get me wrong, there are a lot of great things that come from being uncomfortable. There's a lot of things that get produced when you're in like an uncomfortable state, but at the same time, life shouldn't be a constant state of being uncomfortable. And I think up until this point in my life, with all the growing and learning and developing, and don't get me wrong, I'm still growing and learning and developing, but I was doing it from a place of just being uncomfortable. I was doing it from a place of fear. I was doing and growing from a place of lack. And so now that I'm on the other side of my mountain, it's like, I'm still gonna continue progressing, but I don't have to operate in the same things that I was operating in before, right? I don't have to grow in fear anymore because I've seen where God has elevated me to. I don't have to grow and develop in this scarcity mindset, because I think that's another thing. So I didn't grow up like poor, and I didn't grow up super privileged either, but I do feel like once you've obtained something, there is this fear that you're gonna have to go back to your old lifestyle. And so one of my goals going forward for the rest of this year and beyond is to really kind of like grow out of that scarcity mindset, because I think that's another reason why I have been having these like anxious thoughts, is because I feel like I'm gonna have to go back to my old lifestyle. And that old lifestyle used to have me stressed out. There's nothing against 9-to-5 work or anything like that, because that back then is what helped me get to this place where I am now. But I know that that is not a life that I want to live forever. And as I was preparing the notes for this video, and again referencing that TikTok video of not mistaking peace for boredom, I instantly thought of the scripture, he will give you peace that surpasses all understanding. And if I can think of any way to describe like this last year, it has been peace that surpasses all understanding, because in my understanding, I don't know how I'm right here today. I don't know how I'm living the life that I'm living today. And I feel like one of the reasons why I was having these anxious feelings is because I was trying to understand too much, instead of just enjoying the peace that God has, the perfect peace that God has provided me with. Because the Bible also says that he won't just give you peace, he'll give you his perfect peace. And so like, yeah, this year, like I said, it has definitely been an interesting one, and I feel like that's another reason why I haven't been doing my transparency talks as much, because honestly I have been trying to figure out again this new space that I'm in for myself. I think sometimes we play these mind games with ourselves. We put ourselves through like this psychological warfare that we don't have to, and I feel like in a way that's what I was doing. I feel like just those old habits from my old self of the self-sabotage, those things were starting to creep back up. It's not that I'm not doing enough, it's just that I'm living a peaceful life now. And just to be very clear, I do want to make it clear that peace is not an excuse to be lazy. So living a peaceful life is not an excuse to be lazy. Like obviously, if there's anything that I want to accomplish or you want to accomplish or achieve, there's going to be some basic level of effort that you have to put in, right? However, outside of that, I'm learning that you don't have to be in a constant state of stress and dysfunction to obtain whatever it is that you want in your life. Yes, there will be stressful days. Living a peaceful life doesn't mean that you're void of problems in your life, but mainly it's about how you handle the problems. But mainly, like, I'm just learning that I don't have to live in a constant state of fear. I don't have to live in a constant state of like, what if? I have permission, and you have permission, to just experience life and enjoy life for what it is in the moment. And with so much chaos and confusion going on in the world, I know personally that sometimes it feels like peace and just authentic joy is something that's unattainable. Like, it doesn't exist, it's not real. But what I've learned in my current season of life is that, for one, it's real, it exists, but not only that, I am deserving of it. And when I am afforded that luxury, whether it's for 5 minutes, a month, 5 months, a year, whatever it is, like, I have permission to enjoy that guilt-free. Like, I can enjoy living a peaceful life guilt-free without stressing myself out or thinking that I need to do more. And sometimes if you're not careful, you will talk yourself out of your own blessing. But yeah, guys, that's really all I have for this video. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have anything to add to the conversation, please do so down in the comment section. And yeah, don't forget to follow me on all of my social media platforms, and I will see you beautiful people in my next video. Bye.